It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar. A high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along.
Hello everybody, it's Joe here and welcome to the Season 4 Career Mode Closer. We are here at Qatar for the final race of the season. Can we see the season out on a high? A season that has been a season of growths, a season of positives, and yeah, many other shenanigans in the way. But first things first, let's qualify for the Qatar Sprint. This circuit is very much a tyre killer. It is one that does not go easy on the tyres at all. So far in the first sector we are looking very, very good. We're pretty much on par with Piastri, though going a little bit wider there on the apex did set us back a bit, but we're still just about hovering around the top 10 area, which is good. It's where we want to be. So heading into the season ahead, like I said, there are positives to take, and I think we are heading in a generally good direction, and I'm hoping that that is the direction that we can continue taking into Season 5. But for now, we're qualifying here at Qatar. Sector 2, we lost out a bit there, and now I'm trying to just go flat round those corners. You can take them flat if you get your line right, and I've tried that one almost flat too. And that's gained me a tenth or so in the final sector. But it's the exit out of this corner that counts for everything. Getting on overtake early enough. And what is it good for? It's good for P8. I will take that. So for sprint qualifying, we're in P8. And if we manage to finish there, we grab a point from the sprint. So not too shabby. Let's see how we go in the sprint race ahead though. 10 laps. Anything can happen.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Russell, Perez, Norris, Joker, Hamilton, Stroll, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Sargent, Behrman, Joe, Ricciardo, and Zane Maloney. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and
I also should point out we have a title fight to be wrapped up too. Who will win in favour of Piastri or Norris? But first things first, we have a 10-lap sprint race which is underway here at Qatar. And we got an okay-ish sort of start there. But look on our left at Hamilton, who just really got underway well. Stroll up the inside as well. And I think Albon was trying to find a way through. No such way through existing as we take the outside, then the inside of the first couple of corners. And from losing a bit of momentum, actually, we end up gaining a place. We're side by side with a Mercedes of Lando Norris going around the outside and taking P6. A great start for us then, gaining a couple of places, and the sun getting in my eyes there as I lose the braking spot and end up nearly losing a position as a result and nearly smashing into the back of Russell, which would not be good for our race at all. Coming up to end the first lap then, we're in P6. Alonso and Russell are ahead. Can we make anything on them? Answer, not quite yet. This might be a chance to have a look at Russell, though. We're getting ever closer down the straight. And I just go full send there. And actually, we are able to dispense of George Russell. He's still fighting it down the inside, but we've got ahead of him. And we move up into the top 5. This is incredible progress here in this sprint race. Can we move further ahead? Potentially. P3 up for grabs here, as Verstappen and Alonso are quite busy battling each other. I want to stay with them, but we're going a little bit wide there, demanding grip and traction from the tyres that they're just not going to be giving. Like I said, this circuit is a tyre killer, and they last a couple of laps before they start falling apart. But we're going to use the speed we have to try and keep up Alonso and Verstappen going at each other again. Is there an opportunity that will present itself to us? We're just not quite close enough for that. Alonso gets hung out wide though. Is there a chance to maybe catch him off guard down here? Answer, no. In fact, I caught myself a little bit off guard there. That's not the person I was attempting to catch off guard at all. Verstappen third, Alonso fourth. The two McLarens up front just driving away, as they usually do this season. McLaren's absolutely dominating this end of the season and just obliterating the pack. And we've lost time now to Alonso and Verstappen, and we've got Norris and Russell right behind us. In fact, we've got a bit of something of a train of cars developing behind us as we finish lap 7 and begin lap 8 as the sun starts going down. Lando Norris is about to move ahead of us to take P5. Norris is fighting for a title here. I'm forcing him down the inside. We're going to go 4 wide into 1. That's not going to work, and it doesn't work. That's me, Russell, and somebody else taken off in all that melee. I think it was Hamilton. I was just trying to go around the outside of Norris, but I had someone turn in on me, and then my car got stuck on theirs. Tsunoda's got a 10-second penalty. I'm not sure what he has that for. But now we have underbody damage as well, which is going to be underbody and side pod damage, which is going to be creating a huge amount of drag. And that's why Hulkenberg was able to just drive past us like we were stationary for 13th. I'm now fending off Esteban Ocon. Valtteri Bottas wins the sprint race here in Qatar. And as for me, it's a very miserable P12, dragging behind me a massive train of cars. Not P12, P14 even. It's worse than I imagined. Yeah.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
So with the sprint concluded,
well, not the way I wanted it to go really. Someone turned in on us and then we got stuck on their car. 4 wide round that corner wasn't going to go. I probably should have been the one to back out of that, but what can you do? It's just one of those things, unfortunately. And 3 of us came off worse. I actually think the Ferrari might have been Sergio Perez, but there's your top order of the sprint race. Bottas winning, Piastri second, Verstappen third, Alonso fourth, and Norris, Hamilton, Stroll and Albon completing the points.
A high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along.
It's time to do it all again in Qatar as we go for qualifying for the main event, the final race of the season. The sprint race was an absolute bust, so here's hoping that the feature race can go that bit better. Turn 1, absolutely nailed it, but I was so far off that apex you could park a Boeing 747 in it. in the gap between myself and the apex, that is. End of sector 1 coming up. We're looking fairly good though. We're looking around about top 3 pace. And this is where it just starts going downhill. On the throttle. Not quite as good out of that corner. And then we've got this right-hander that just doesn't seem to end. Using the outside curb well. But this is where we lose a bit of time. And I'm hoping we don't lose too much time there. So we did lose a little bit of time going wide there. But this is where we're strong. These corners here. Because I take them flat with no fear. And that hopefully come the race, this is where we can gain a couple of attempts during the Grand Prix every lap. Heading to the final corner now. Pick your braking spot. Turn in. Miss the apex again. Absolutely brilliant. But it still looks like we're in for a top 10 starting position for this season final. And it's P10. We are P10 on the grid. So it's still a positive start. Being on the 5th row, that's in the point. So if we can just finish there, we'd grab a point. But I definitely feel like we could probably target around 6th or 7th here. But I don't think we can realistically get any more. But I am going to try an ambitious strategy. I think the one stop, it leaves the tyres feeling like absolute crap by the end of the stint. So we are going to try a 2-stop and let's see how that goes.
There's a long history of two-wheeled motorsport action here, but in 2021, Lewis Hamilton won out as part of an epic battle that year with Max Verstappen. But who will win out tonight? So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton, Albon, Stroll, Russell, Joker, Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Gasly, Sargent, Ocon, Behrman, Ricciardo, Joe, and Zayn Maloney. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. I don't know about you, Ant, but it seems like only a couple of weeks ago we were talking ahead of the first race. Here we are, ahead of the last race. This year has just flown by.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
One to go then. This is it. The final of the season. Here in Qatar, 10th on the grid. Can we translate that to finishing on a high and finishing in the points? We are underway once again, and it's a relatively decent start. But again, some are away faster than us. But that left side has been available to us, or left available, and once again, sweeping around the outside to gain positions has worked. Because it has put me in P8. They left me all the space around the outside, and I just said, thank you very much, I will take it. Having a look at Lance Stroll for P7 now. Stroll covering quite nicely there. And we've got Norris fighting Lewis Hamilton. Oh, it's not going well for Lando Norris, is it? Especially when the two McLarens are looking so competitive. And Hamilton forcing his way, or trying to force his way, down the inside of Lando Norris. I'm just sat pretty at the moment, just waiting to see how this unfolds. They're still side by side here. Hamilton does not win out in that battle. Norris does. And I send it down the inside of Hamilton while he's a little bit compromised. But he's now come back at me, and we're side by side round the right-hander here. But I just see him off, get the position, get shocked that I managed to pull that off, and then drive wide myself, losing a couple of places in the process. I thought I'd clipped him, and that's why I gave him the room down the outside. But I spooked myself off the track in doing so. And now we're back down to 8. But it's still a gain on our opening position as Lance Stroll attacks Lewis Hamilton. God, those are words you don't hear often, aren't they? Lance Stroll attacking Hamilton for P6. Not able to make anything of it. And now we go down the inside of Stroll. Hopefully gaining the position. No, Stroll holds the position very nicely. He is wanting these points for P7. And I've just got to wait it out. coming up to finish the second lap, all over the back of the Canadian driver in the Aston Martin, and Lance's engine is gone.
Okay, clear.
Lance's engine blows up right in front of us, and I tell you what, that's one way to get past him. But Lance Stroll out of the final race, and that's a little bit gutting because that could have been quite a fun battle for us. But Stroll out of proceedings now. I'm up to P7, and that's not the braking spot there at all. I actually really struggled with the brakes, and that's allowed George Russell to get past and into P7. We're down to P8 and starting to struggle a little bit already. Man, these tyres just do not last. But I feel like there's something else I'm just doing wrong here at the moment, because we're just not getting the best traction we can. And I think there's something slightly wrong in the lines on tape. Well, I know what was wrong with that line. But we now come up to finish the fourth lap, and we're going to come back at George Russell for P7 down the inside. I mean, that's just candy from a baby, really, isn't it? Up into 7th, trying to catch back up to Lewis Hamilton, which is proving quite difficult. Norris in 5th. It's not going to be his championship day, really, is it? Oscar Piastri looking dominant in front, and Norris just playing catch-up in P5. So you have got to think it is looking likely to swing in the favour of Oscar Piastri, and George Russell's having a go down the inside, and Russell is taking that position from us. But we're going to have the DRS very soon, so I'm not too fussed about George Russell passing there, because we're just going to get him back, and we're going to set the overtake up very nicely here. Russell onto the straight, we're onto the straight. Overtake, activate, and we're getting closer, closer, closer. Having a lunge, taking the position up into P7, and Russell once again left waiting. So back into P7 we go, and it's looking good for a couple of points here. But again, I am running that two-stop strategy and hoping that it can still bring me points. And you can see why we're running it, because we're already 7 seconds off Lando Norris. And in previous races we have been closer to the front, so the tyres just not holding out. Here comes Russell, and it's Russell with Albon coming at me now. Are they going to go one either side? No, but I'm going to try and defend George Russell as he has a look down the inside. Russell not able to make it through there. Here it is then, our final pit stop of the season. Into the pits we go, and I'll tell you what, this pit lane feels super slow, doesn't it? Off go the mediums, on go the hards. First of 2 stops here. I was initially going to try and take these to the end. I had the thought of doing that, but as soon as I saw what the wear was on them, I thought, yeah, there's not a chance. There's not a chance. So back into the race we go. We're right at the back. But the advantage of having the fresh tyres really does mean something round here. The undercut is so powerful. And we're straight away getting on it, not leaving anything on the table whatsoever. It's time to give it a hard push. And by the time the pit stops come around, we have gained on Zane Maloney, who is about 12.5 seconds in front of us, and we've done that in about 4 laps. Maloney pits, so does the vast majority of the pack. Where is this going to put us? The answer is we're back ahead of George Russell and Sergio Perez, and we're just sort of behind Verstappen and Alonso by a few seconds, so that's not too shabby. We're out in a relatively strong place, but the problem is where their tyres are brand new now and mine just aren't, my pace is not going to be there at all. We did manage to jump Lewis Hamilton as well in getting that undercut, but like I said, it's just not going to last. The advantage Hamilton is going to have, and does have, yeah, here he comes now down the straight. I'm going to try and hold him off, but look at that. Nothing I could have done about that. Hamilton moving up into P6. We drop down to P7, and we've got George Russell all over the back of us as well. What can Russell do from here? Is he going to be able to get past us, or can we hold on to the position? Lap 19 of 29. We're approaching the end stages of this Qatar Grand Prix, the end stage of this season. I elect to make the pit stop because I checked the wear, and they weren't going to last. I was putting myself in the 80s at least, which would be puncture territory. I wasn't willing to gamble it, so we've gone back out on a set of medium tyres and just seeing where we can end up now. It's going to be a bit of fun. We are pretty much last, apart from Zane Maloney, who, well, miserable season for Zane. Right, what have we got here? Have we got enough time to make ourselves back into the points? Will the pace advantage help work us back into the points? 8 laps to go in this season finale at Qatar. Can we get ourselves back into the points? I'm certainly pushing like hell for it, aren't I? 6 seconds, less than 6 seconds is the gap to those in front. And is that Mercedes slowing down? Yes, it is. I believe that is George Russell coming to a halt as well. So, spent a lot of the race battling him, but now he's out of it. Right, back to our POV. We're P19, catching some of the back markers. This is it then, the final charge. A fastest lap of 1:23.4. That's at least a second and a half, 2 seconds quicker than some of the front runners are going. And we're bringing ourselves back into this fight. We're right behind the two Saubers at the moment. We've got past Daniel Ricciardo. Now we're getting past Zhou Guanyu. And that was relatively easy. Up into P17. Next up is Oliver Bearman. Ollie not doing too shabby a job here. He did manage to get us a podium in Vegas, but I really was hoping he'd chase down a point or two as we now go to overtake him. And in fact, Logan Sargent drives wide, so that makes it easy for us to grab a double overtake. Cheers, Sargent. You keep being you. And we now move up into P15. Realistically, I don't think we're going to make the points, which is a shame because the pace we've been running over the last few laps is so strong, but it is what it is. It was a bold strategy call to make. In the end, potentially the wrong one. Maybe I should have leaned on the tyres a bit more to make them last. Final lap here at Qatar then, and we are making gains on Esteban Ocon. This is going to be for P14. I'll tell you what, if we can send it on him some point in this last lap, that'll be one for pride more than anything. A decent-ish recovery, but just not decent enough for points. Oscar Piastri wins then, and with that, I'm sure has become champion of the world here. Oscar Piastri, take a bow, but this is now the final battle for P14, and it's like I predicted, this sector where we're faster, it is helping us gain, and we're going to have a look at Ocon defending, but we're going to take the inside line, force our way up into P14, and that is going to be where we finish the final race of the season. I don't know why I'm looking so pleased with myself for that. It's P14. I mean, I had to try something because I feel like we would have fallen down the field trying to defend ourselves on old tyres, but 2 stops apparently is the wrong way to go.
Well, it's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. Oscar Piastri, take a bow. What a performance, what a win. Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. So let's celebrate the end of the season, but I know a lot of you will be very sad out there thinking, what are you going to do without Formula One? Don't worry, folks, it'll be back before you know it. We'll see you next year.
So it is Oscar Piastri then who ends up winning the championship with that victory, a dominant victory for him. Bottas second, McLaren untouchable in that race. Verstappen third, Norris fourth, Alonso fifth, Hamilton sixth, Perez 7th, Albon 8th, and then Hülkenberg and Leclerc completing the final points positions. We weren't able to make up enough time in the end, but I'm not too disheartened by that. It was still fun to battle the drivers at the back of the pack. But there is your champion, Oscar Piastri. He fell back a bit in the mid-season, but he pulled it back, and he is your champion. Bottas is second. Norris third, Verstappen fourth, Alonso fifth, Russell sixth, Perez seventh. We're eighth in the standings in the end. A very positive result there for us. Then it's Hamilton ninth, Leclerc 10th for Haas. Good effort for him. Albon 11th, Stroll is 12th. Oliver Behrman with that one podium finish for us in Las Vegas is 13th. Pierre Gasly is 14th. I can't believe that one podium finish for Behrman is what got him P13 in the standings. That amuses me quite a bit, to be honest. But looking down at the rest of the standings, we got Sainz 15th, Tsunoda 16th, Porsche 17th after a failed stint with Red Bull. 18th is Hülkenberg, Ocon is 19th, Ricciardo is 20th, and obviously everyone from Daniel Ricciardo downwards didn't score, and Zane Maloney finished last. What a miserable season. McLaren obviously winning the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes second, Ferrari third, Red Bull fourth, Aston Martin fifth, we're sixth, Haas 7th, Williams 8th, Alpine are 9th, 10th is VCarb, and Sauber did not score. Thank you for watching this season of Career Mode. Join me again for Season 5. Until then, TTFN, ta-ta for now, take care, and I'll see you all soon.